I'd like to introduce Chris Wright up to the lectern, or invite Chris to come up to the lectern. I first met Chris about 18 months ago. The contact came through Stuart Thompson at Aviagen. I said to Stuart, we're very keen to profile an individual who's achieving some phenomenal results, getting good results on broilers, preferably a young person. And he put me in touch with Chris. And I can totally understand why, because you'll see from Chris's presentation that he's achieved something like 9 consecutive flocks that are performing above 400 EPEF. Now, I appreciate for the layer delegates in the room, that doesn't necessarily mean a great deal. But from a broiler point of view, that is top 1%. So Chris is in the top 1%, or a broiler grower that achieves a 400 EPF or above in the top 1% of growers. But Chris achieved 9 of those consecutively, and he achieved an average FCR of 1.48. Phenomenal performance. And Chris was very welcoming, very keen to invite me on farm to talk about broiler growing his way. And Chris, you thoroughly deserve your opportunity on the stage this afternoon. You've won the unit manager at the National Poultry Business Awards in June in London, so there is recognition from the industry in terms of what you're achieving. Chris, over to you to give an outline of your career today, which I know goes back 10 years, but you've been involved in the broader sector as a younger man for longer than that. Chris, over to you.
No, thank you, Gary. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Chris Wright, a broiler farmer from Lincolnshire. I'm currently head of UK broilers at Applied. A few facts about me. I first entered a broiler shed at the age of 6. My first job was with Moy Park at 17. I won Best Contract Grower for Moy Park. I'm part of the Ross 400 Club, which is now the 420, and most recently won Unit Manager of the Year, as Gary pointed out. So my background, I started off as a farm assistant on a Moy Park farm, 475,000 birds. It was a show farm. I spent about 11 months there and then moved as an assistant farm manager to a contract grower for Moy, where I spent about 5 years learning all the different seasons and ventilation that was needed to help me progress. I then went on to be a farm manager on a 350,000 broiler unit as a contract grower from Moy Park, and ended up putting everything that I'd learnt previously to doing what I did now. And my current role is now head of UK broilers, where I look after about 14 million birds a year. My family are broiler farmers. My granddad ran this farm that's in the picture for GW Padleys. My dad later came in and worked on it for Moy Park. I've never worked on it, but I followed in their footsteps through managing. I also have 2 younger brothers that are in the working on broiler farms. One of them has done the same as me, an assistant manager, and gone on to a manager. And then my youngest brother, who I took on an apprenticeship scheme at my old farm, which he's still doing. My first year at the Realms, I won Best Contract Grower for Moy Park with a 384 EPF and a 152 FCR. I knew I could do better, and I looked at different things to maximise the performance of the bird. I won it again the following year with a 403 EPF average for the year and a 148 FCR. I'm a member of the Ross 400 Club, which is now the 420. For those who don't know, this is a benchmark given down by Aviagen for their Ross bird. It's food eaten, live weight, average age, and the livability. In that period, I had 9 consecutive 400 EPF results with the 1.48 FCR. And most recently this year, in the summer, I won Unit Manager of the Year at the National Egg and Poultry Awards, which I couldn't attend because I was on my honeymoon. So I didn't want to argue with the boss. Key factors for growing broilers. Obviously, the most important one Ventilation, there is a fine line between over-venting and under-venting, and growing the best boiler always will be the most important one. The husbandry skills and the stockman, eyes, ears and nose, the best 3 senses for broiler growing. Biosecurity, looking at putting feed bins on the outside of the farm, automatic wheel washes, shed-specific Wellingtons with overboots as well for added protection, and attention to detail. Everything has its place inside a broiler shed. These are my main 4 points, but there are more than this to keep consecutive results. How I achieved the best results. Using technology. Cameras in the shed, looking at bird spread activity, looking at more than one shed at one time. It's not Big Brother. It is there just for the welfare side of it. We're not looking at what anybody else is doing in the shed. Analysing data, trends and patterns, looking at spikes in the data, putting alarms on parameters to help me respond to those quicker to make the bird perform to its best. This technology is here and we need to use it to lift performance across the board. With that is real-time data, which is graphed every 15 minutes. So this is vent rates, feed, water, CO2, RH, pressure, temperature zones. And I can adapt these settings 24 hours a day, anywhere I am in the world, from what the data is telling me, what the birds are telling me, and most importantly, what the manager is telling me. I'm passionate about moving the industry forward, working with integrators for us all to be a part of going into schools, colleges and universities, to put a better light on our industry for the right reasons. It's our job to change the perception currently that looms over us in the media. Younger people coming in will grow the technology forward as well. How do I use innovation? Innovation is solution to methods and problems. For example, we currently have a sensor sniffing the air at the applied group at the minute, which is picking up potential problems before they become full-blown issues. Trials have shown that the sensors are picking up things 2 days before. We just need to look at the data in depth to see what it is actually picking up. And from this, we gain the knowledge. Old methods and techniques with modern adaptation and technology, key to moving the industry forward. For example, beginning of the crop, old methods of brooding, but with modern adaptation of underfloor heating. With all these modern adaptations, we always look at what the bird is telling us for performance and welfare. This is a picture of me and my daughter Lily. She's been entered into a shed younger than me. She was 2. Getting into schools is important to attract the new generation, the younger generation, and the next generation. It wasn't easy for me getting into the industry when I first left school, and it wasn't easy for me with the progress ladder. We need to change that. It's so important as younger generations will bring new innovation that will create new technology to keep us moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you.